Good morning. So today during my mentoring session this morning at 7 a.m., we discussed dysfunctions of a team. And the two dysfunctions that we discussed are based on the book by Patrick Lencioni, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And so the two dysfunctions that we discussed were distrust and lack of conflict. So to address the first topic, lack of trust. One of the greatest promoters of trust within a team is vulnerability among team members. So as a leader, you have the opportunity to foster that environment of trust in your team by taking the first step. Now, I encourage you to use wisdom in your vulnerability, and I encourage you to stretch yourself. If it's not true vulnerability, if it's an act, then you're using it as manipulation to try and get your team to be vulnerable. And when they find that out, you'll create more distrust than what you had before you tried to manipulate them. So I encourage you, be genuine, be authentic in your sharing and in your vulnerability with your team. And through that, you create a higher level, a deeper trust in your team. I'd also like to discuss the next dysfunction, which is lack of conflict. Now, this one sounds like it may be counterproductive. Do we want conflict in our teams? The answer is yes. If you remember my last video, or if you were in my session last week, we discussed conflict and ways of dealing with conflict. Don't mistake that for me saying that conflict is a bad thing. It is not a negative thing as long as conflict is civil and productive. Conflict allows your team the opportunity to disagree and create clarity around what it is that they are trying to achieve and how the best way to achieve their set goals can look like, what that can look like. And so allowing your team to engage in conflict that is respectful, that is vulnerable, and that is honest will allow your team to get more clarity around what they want and how they're going to achieve that. And so in our meeting today, we discussed conflict and some of the challenges around conflict and opportunities for growth around conflict. And we discussed how before getting into a meeting where conflict can occur, it can be important to establish what the values of the team are and to agree to what those values are and what the goals or outcomes that the team wants to set are, what that looks like. So that way everyone is in understanding with each other. And from that point, they can go forward in creating whatever it is that they are trying to achieve, and they can engage in productive conflict. Conflict can even be something that is encouraged, and as a leader, you can give your team permission to engage in conflict. So oftentimes, we try and avoid conflict. What if we stepped into conflict with the possibility and knowledge that it could bring us closer to achieving our goals? So I want to leave you with that today. Explore what conflict can do as a tool for you and your team. If you'd like to join one of my morning sessions, please leave a comment, reach out to me. You can email me at mcnally.s.tim@gmail.com, and we can discuss this further. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.